Welcome everyone to the webinar. This is Ila Satane, Customer Success Executive at Gridlogics, and would like to welcome you all to our webinar today. The topic for today's webinar is identifying the emerging players in CRISPR-Cas9 and comparing their portfolio strengths using PatSeer ProX. In this webinar, we will learn how PatSeer ProX leverages portfolio strength and quality metrics to identify the emerging and strongest players in CRISPR-Cas9 technology space. You will also learn more about PatSeer's unique patent quality metrics and how you can use them to analyze competitive market and R&D potential of patent portfolios held by companies in a given technology space. The webinar will also show examples of how these scores can be used across filters, charts, and matrices to find hidden and non-obvious insights in a technology area. Before I go on to introduce my co-speaker for today's session, I am delighted to welcome all the participants from different countries and regions and thank them for taking out time to join us today. Your participation is a wonderful encouragement to efforts and attempts that we are making to raise awareness about patents through knowledge that has been honed by Gridlogics over several years of working with inventors, R&D organizations, IP departments, and law firms. Without further ado, let me introduce our speaker, Rohit Joshi. Rohit handles customer success team at Gridlogics. He joined Gridlogics and he has quickly immersed in the world of the product support and consultation. Rohit and his team had supported and successfully consulted more than 2,000 accounts representing various industries. In addition to consulting and product support, he is also responsible for product roadmap program where he represents the customer's feedback to development teams. He has also represented Gridlogics in various IP conferences.
Yeah, thanks Vila for the introduction. So the main purpose of this session is to understand the emerging players in CRISPR-Cas9 and comparing their portfolios using various scoring methodologies of PatSeer ProX. So if you have any sort of question, you can mention those questions on the right side of the presentation window. So you'll have an option of a chat option in which you can just put your questions. So for better connectivity, I'm just going to switch off my camera. Just give me a minute. So to start with, just a quick introduction about our company. So we have a SaaS solution for patent and innovation research, analysis, and collaboration purpose. We have an experience of 15 years in intellectual property software solutions. Our product PatSeer is used by the corporations, government institutes, law firms, and service providers. We have a strong focus on the R&D, and we also carry out rapid continuous product enhancements that basically help us to solve the greater challenges and needs of all the IP professionals. Let us now get started with the main part of our presentation. So PatSeer ProX mainly helps you to create a quantitative as well as qualitative analysis of the patents in the technology space of your interest. It helps you to validate your decision about building a patent portfolio. It will also help you to assess the strength of your competitors' patent as well as validate the research going on in the technology space of interest. So in PatSeer ProX, we have come up with some scoring methods that mainly score the patents based on their innovative potential and not just on the portfolio size. Now, let's see how ranking of the patent and patent portfolio will be helpful. In PatSeer ProX, we have introduced a host of statistically calculated qualitative fields that integrate unique scoring metrics at both the patent family and portfolio levels. So, scoring a patent will help you to quickly analyze the strength and weaknesses of the patent portfolios You can also benchmark the strength and weaknesses of the patent portfolio against that of your competitor or other portfolios. It will also help you to identify the emerging players in the technology space you're working on. Now that we have gone through a few reasons to score a patent, so in the next few slides, let's see how PatSeer ProX scores a patent based on various qualities. So here, each patent family in PatSeer is benchmarked against 30 plus parameters, and 4 separate quality indicators are derived, such as citation quality, market quality, legal quality, and document quality. These 4 quality indicators are used to calculate the 360 quality of a patent family. So as I mentioned, that there are 4 separate quality indicators, and each of these indicators, all the quality scores, will have a value from 0 to 100. So now let's have a look at how each of these scores are being calculated. Each of these quality scores give an independent qualitative viewpoint to the patent family. The final 360 quality for the patent family is calculated as the weighted average of these 4 scores. So the highest weightage is basically given to the citation quality, the next weightage is given to the market quality, then to the legal quality, and the last comes the document quality. Now to just give you an idea about what are the different things that goes into calculating these all 4 scores that are just present in front of your screen. So first is citation quality. So citation quality score indicates the impact of the patent in its technology space. The key parameters that we consider to calculate the citation quality are like the number of forward citations, then the number of forward citations that were present in the last 5 years, its generality, originality, and we also consider the number of backward citations. For market quality, we see in how many countries the invention has been protected, and also the weightage is given to those countries for whom the GDP is on the higher side. A higher market quality indicates that the invention is well covered and protected across different geographies, and so you can say that that particular like the patent family, whichever has the highest score, would be more valuable. The third is the legal quality, which basically indicates the aggressiveness and the investment of the company to protect the invention. To calculate the legal quality score, we consider we basically check whether the legal status is alive or dead, and even among the alive patents, we further assess the granted or the pending status of those patents. We also check the count of the active family members, then the remaining life of the invention, and we also see if there are any litigations, opposition, or re-examinations. The last is the document quality. So this is basically the intrinsic quality indicator of the patent and is based on its technical and structural content. Now, to calculate this document quality score, what we do is we see if there's any science linkage, then if there are any co-applicants. We also check the technology scope of the invention. So when we say technology scope, we check in how many classes like IPCs or CPCs the patent has been filed in. We see the number of independent claims. Then we also see the count of inventors. So the things that I've just mentioned to you, these are just few of the things. But then as I mentioned before, in the back end, we are actually considering 30 plus parameters to come up with the final value. And all the scores are being basically calculated on real time. Further, to calculate the overall scores for a portfolio of a patent, we provide 2 portfolio level aggregations. The first is the portfolio quality index, which is derived by calculating the 90th percentile value over the patent family score for all the families present in the portfolio. The next is the portfolio value index, which is the sum of the 360 quality score of all the families present in the portfolio. As expected, the larger portfolio will tend to have the higher portfolio value index. We also score the patents based on some additional value indicators, which are like originality and generality. To calculate these scores, we use the industry standard formula. So originality is the measure of how much original thinking has gone into the invention, while generality measures the capability of the invention to be applied across different technology domains. Now, let's have a quick look at the comparison table that will basically show you the difference between PatSeer ProX and PatSeer Pro Edition. The PatSeer Pro basically helps you to create a quantitative analysis of your data, while ProX helps you to create quantitative as well as qualitative analysis. So in PatSeer ProX, along with the tech mining, competitive intelligence, white space mapping, you can also use specialized scoring model that I have explained to you. And using these scoring model as a base, you can also do competitive benchmarking. Now, let's go to the topic of today's webinar. The objective of the webinar is to have a look at the top and the emerging players in the technology space of CRISPR-Cas9. So CRISPR-Cas9 is a genome editing tool that is creating a buzz in the science world. It is faster, cheaper, and more accurate than previous techniques of editing DNA and has a wide range of potential application. Now, let's have a look how we have used PatSeer ProX to identify the top players and the emerging players in the CRISPR-Cas9 technology space. So to begin with, we started building up a search query in which we basically took the CRISPR and Cas9 as the key terms, as you can see on the screen right now. And then eventually we deduplicated the entire result based on families. Like we took, like in this particular case, we have taken up the simple families. We have created a few insightful graphical representations that will help you to understand the competitive standing of the key players. It will also show you the leaders and the promising new players in this technology space. The chart will also give you insights about how there has been growth in the patent portfolio of various key players. You can also quickly see the universities with the better innovation potential and also some of the promising patents that have an excellent 360 quality. So here is the comparison table that will give you an overview of the competitive standing of the key players. Based on this table, you can easily compare different quality metrics of the key players in the technology space of CRISPR-Cas9. So I'll just quickly go to the quick start section, and on just a single click, I'll be able to generate this chart. So as you can see, the table shows the 90th percentile of all the quality scores that we have just discussed. So in this chart, you will see that Broad Institute, MIT, Harvard University, and other research institutes have a better portfolio value index. But if you have a look at the market quality, it will be on the lower side. Now, the reason behind this is like the research institutes tend to file less patent out of their own jurisdiction. So as you see here, market quality of the universities mainly fall between 54 to maybe 70th percentile. Whereas for companies, the market quality is falling in the range of 70 to 94, as you can see clearly on the screen right now. The table also shows that Novartis International AG has been placed above Duke University, in spite of having a smaller portfolio size. So in this case, like it's like Novartis has just 20 patents in their portfolio, but Duke has 27 patents. So the reason why Novartis has been placed above Duke is because of the portfolio value index, which you can see is on the higher side, which is like 724 compared to Duke University. So even though Novartis has less number of patents, all those patents you can say are of good quality based on the different quality metrics that we have. Now, let's have a look at the leaders and the challengers in this particular technology space. Using next two charts, you can create quality versus quantity analysis over all the inventions using PatSeer ProX, which gives a good summary of the current competitive landscape that currently exists in this space. The chart that you see here shows the top players in the technology space of CRISPR-Cas9 based on the portfolio size and quality. So as you can see here, in the top left quadrant, there are companies like DuPont, Novartis International, and Intelia Therapeutic that have a better 360 quality score in spite of having a smaller portfolio size. So on the x-axis, what you see is the portfolio size, and on the y-axis, what you see is the 360 score. So like 360 score for all these three are on the higher side. So as they are present on the top left quadrant, you can say that these are the challengers in this particular space. Whereas if you see the companies in the right quadrant, such as Harvard University, MIT, and Broad Institute, they have a good 360 score, but along with that, the portfolio size is also on the higher side. So as these two things are like comparatively on the higher side, what we can say is like these all three universities are the leaders in this particular space of CRISPR-Cas9. Now, moving to the next chart that shows the promising new players in this technology space of CRISPR-Cas9. The chart mainly helps you to view the new players who have entered the technology space in the last 5 years. So let me just quickly load this chart. So from the chart, it can be seen that even though BASF is a large company, it is seen to be in a new entrant in this technology space. It has a small portfolio size, but the 360 quality of the patent is really good. BASF has been aiming to use CRISPR-Cas9 for advancing and delivering the improved agricultural and industrial products faster and less expensively than other genome editing methods. Also, here in this chart, it can be seen that University of Pennsylvania, Regeneron Pharma, and Duke University have a good portfolio size, and their 360 quality score is also on the higher side. So this chart basically gives you an idea about the new players who have a small portfolio size but a good 360 quality, which can be acquired by the large players to improve their own portfolio quality. So this was just a quick overview about the new entrant chart that we have. Now, the next chart shows you the portfolio value. Like it basically will show you how the portfolio value has grown for all the key players. This chart mainly helps you to view the growth in the patent portfolio of the top players. It will mainly show you the companies who have been filing aggressively over the years. It can be seen that there has been an exponential growth in the patent portfolio value index for Broad Institute, MIT, and Harvard University since 2012. So on the x-axis, what you see is the year, and you can clearly see how after 2012, all these three universities have exponentially grown in this particular space. In a similar fashion, if you look at the portfolio size and the quality for the University of California, you can see that they started progressing in this particular space somewhere after year 2015. So this is the University of California, yeah, and you can see that it started growing like exponentially after the year 2015. Now, let's move to the next graph, which shows the university with the greater innovative depth. So this particular chart helps to understand the R&D potential of various universities. The chart basically shows the top companies against the originality and generality. So on the x-axis, what you see right now is the generality, and on the y-axis, what you see is the originality. So now, except for originality and generality, all the scores would be in the range of 0 to 100. But when it comes to originality and generality, it will be in the range of 0 to 1. So as discussed previously, originality is a measure of how much of original thinking has gone into the invention, while generality measures the capability of the invention to be applied across different technology domains. Now, from this chart, it can be observed that patents of MIT, Broad Institute, and Harvard University has a very good innovation potential and also have a high capability to be applied across the different technology domains. Now, moving to the last chart of today's presentation, that will basically show you the most promising patterns in the technology space of CRISPR-Cas9. This chart shows the record distribution across quality buckets and age of the invention. So let me just quickly generate this chart. So on the x-axis, what you see are the years to expiry, like how much time how much time is remaining for a patent to get expired, and on the y-axis, what you see is the 360 quality score. Now, the top right quadrant is where the most promising patents fall, since they have the higher quality and higher exploitation time available. This chart that you see right now is based on the whole data set. However, you can apply the filter of the companies of your choice and look for the most promising patents in their portfolio. So I will just quickly filter out the patents of MIT, Broad Institute, and Harvard University. So here, there are 4 inventions that have an excellent 360 quality score and have 13 years for their exploitation. So these are some of the insightful graphical representation that ProX has to offer. You can not only make graphical representations of your data, but also there are a few basic things that can help you to. So first is basically you can easily filter the records based on all the quality scores. So as you know, each quality score has a value between 0 to 100. So under each filter, you will be able to enter a value of the choice, and you can easily filter out the patterns. So you can set a threshold. So probably if you're working on a specific technology and you just want to have a look at all the powerful patterns in that particular space, you can simply add 70 over here and just apply the filter and just view those patterns which has a score of 360, which is above 70. So indirectly, so right now if you see, there are 122 records out of 2300 patents which has a score of above 70. So it indirectly means that all these patents have been heavily cited. There are a lot of companies or other patents that have been citing these particular patents. It also means that they have been protected heavily across different jurisdictions. It also means that the legal status is alive. It also means that they have a good claims, or the content that the patent has is of a very high quality. So all these things are basically being considered when you apply such kind of filter. So analyzing a particular set of patents which are highly valuable in that particular space becomes very easy by using these kind of filters. And along with that, you can also make use of the different sorting options that are available over here. So at any point of time, you can just quickly filter out the patents based on 360 or citation or market quality score. And finally, you can also export all the quality scores using our export option. Now, the last option that I'd like to cover is the matrix. So the matrix is a multidimensional tool that helps you to see the relationship between the various patent fields. So right now what we have done is like we have created a matrix based on the current owner versus industry, and in the value we have taken the citation quality. So in the table right now what you see are the company names on one side and the different industries in which these companies have been filing patents. So those have been listed on the top side. Now over here, if you see the example, you have like the value 3733 as you can see in one of the cells. So what it is basically telling you is that Broad Institute has some of the patents being filed in basic pharmaceutical products, and the citation quality, the sum of the citation quality is somewhere around 3733. So there are a lot of patents that are being cited in this particular industry is what we can interpret by just looking at this matrix. So these were some of the few things that you can achieve using PatSeer ProX. Thank you everyone for your patience and hearing to us. We will now move to the question and answers. So if you have any sort of questions, please feel free to drop them in the chat window. Okay, so the first question that I can see over here is like someone is asking whether the scores that are being assigned are at the record level. So to answer your question, so all the scores that I've just shown to you, those are basically at the family level. So all the patterns that will be present under a single family will have the same score. Okay, the next question. The next question is if it is possible to download the charts that I've just shown to you. So yes, you can definitely download all the charts that I've just shown to you in different formats, and then you can include them in different presentations. So that is possible. Now, the other question that I can see is like how you can identify that whether you have PatSeer ProX subscription. So for that, basically what you can just do a preliminary check, like once you run some search, you can see on the result page, this is the quality indicator. So if you are in the standard view, then you can quickly see if you can see this particular bar, or else. So thing is like all the PatSeer ProX related thing, all the main important things would be available in this quick stats section. So if you go to the quick stats and if you go to the parties, so under the parties, you will have some predefined charts. So you will have like the assignee quality ranking, the one that we have just seen today. Then the quality versus quantity, top and new players. So these charts that you see right now would be present in your quick stats section if you have access to PatSeer ProX. So I hope I was able to address your question. Okay. The next question is like whether it's possible to compare two companies based on these different scores. So yes, definitely you can do that. You can compare 2 or 3 different companies, and you can actually see where those particular companies are stronger, like whether based on the market quality or the citation quality, or you can also compare it based on the different portfolio value scores that we have. So the base is like, first you need to create a search strategy in that manner. So your search strategy itself will have the company names of your interest, and then you can run these charts over your search strategy. So basically the base is your search strategy. You can create as complex search query as you want in a particular technology space, and then gain these valuable insights by just a click. So you can just go to the quick stats section and generate these charts. So okay, so the question is like, when if you download, if they can get a score for an individual patent or download them. Yes. So if you want, you can get this score for the individual patent. So here, if you see, this is the, let me just, so thing is like, for each record, you will see this bar over here, and on mouse over, you can see the actual score for that particular document. So right now, if you see, it is 98.78. But at any point of time, if you want to download the scores for the individual patent, you can just go to the export option that we have over here and download all the scores that I just explained to you. So you can just download them for the individual patents also.
This has been a wonderful session. I am sure our listeners have great takeaways from this session and will be able to use several of these pointers when while working on management of their innovations for their businesses. Thank you everyone for the insightful session.